All right, so now we're going to make some. We're gonna change some scenarios. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an initial diagram. So my initial diagram is going to have a baseline. This is the baseline, and a star that we're observing, and then a background of stars. All right, that's my initial diagram. And I'm going to draw my parallax shift. All right, that's my starting point. So this is the baseline. This is the distance to the object being observed. So now the first thing we want to ask is what will happen to the parallax shift if we increase the distance to the object being observed? So increase distance. What happens to the parallax? Now, some of you are visual and you already know the answer. You can see it in your head, but not everybody can. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a diagram that represents that. So we're not going to change anything else. Our baseline length is the same. So this length has to remain the same. But I want to increase the distance. So to increase the distance, I'm going to move this way. All right, so my baseline is the same length. What I increased was the distance. So I increased this. This got bigger. Distance got bigger. So now I'm going to draw my new parallax. I need to go from an observation through the star. This is where using the two different colors is helpful. All right, what happened was the parallax shift decreased, it got smaller. Parallax shift got smaller. The angle's smaller too, see? The angle's smaller and this distance is smaller. So that's one scenario. The straight edges are important because if you go to a straight edge, then everything's going to get out of whack. And that's not the nature. All right. Anybody at home need more time with that one? Anybody in here need more time with that one? All right, now we're going to increase the baseline. All right, you're going to make a starting diagram again. I'm going to use purple like I did before. So there's my background of stars. Here's the star I'm going to observe. Here's my baseline. Okay. There's my initial parallax. All right, that's my starting point. So now I want to increase baseline. What happens to the parallax? All right, so this is the baseline here. What? Yep, make it longer. So I've increased the baseline like this. So now, make sure you go through your stars. So what's happened is I've increased the parallax shift. Parallax shift got bigger. So the way we do that now is because earlier astronomers, when they first started being able to measure parallax, they were restricted to the biggest baseline they had, which was the diameter of Earth's orbit. So the way we increase the baseline now is we put telescopes in space. That's how we increase the baseline now. All right, now let's do two things at once. Let's increase the distance and decrease the baseline. Increase the distance and decrease the baseline. Now I know some of you got this in your head right now. Increase the distance and decrease the baseline. Here's our star. So we need always just make a starting one. It doesn't really matter. Mine's a little off kilter because I'm not looking down right over top of it. I'm kind of stretched out over the table because of where my camera is. All right, increase distance and decrease baseline. What happens to the parallax? All right, if we're going to increase the distance, we need to go this way. And if we're going to decrease the baseline, this line has to be shorter. There. We've increased the distance and we've made the baseline smaller. And what that does is it dramatically decreases the parallax shift. it gets much smaller. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some scenarios and you can draw them out, okay? Let me set that there until everybody gets done. All right. Everybody done drawing that in the room? Anybody still drawing that? Or at home? Anybody still drawing that at home? All right. Let's see. We increase the distance and we decrease the baseline. Let's decrease the baseline and decrease the distance. And then let's increase the baseline and increase the distance. And then what other category do we got here? Decrease, increase, increase distance. So decrease distance. Increase baseline. All right. Now, those are the scenarios you're going to draw. And you might find, if you think about it, some of them can have more than one result. So do some have more than one result? The answer is yes. See if you can tell me which ones. All right, so those are the scenarios. So once you got the answer, there's the scenarios. You can put that in and move off of the show and do the other activities. So I'm sure there's So I hope you like that little break for what we normally do. I did.